Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. I shall see what's going on on a lovely little island of Fawnhollow today, and you'll be glad to know I took a sip of water before I started recording this episode this time. You know, that's what they call foresight in my business, and in real life too, I suppose. Well, I guess that kind of suggests that business isn't real life, which is not really what I meant, but you know what I meant. Maybe, or maybe you didn't. So my voice, my throat, my palate is hydrated. I don't know really which part of your mouth becomes hydrated. I guess it's always kind of hydrated if you really want to come at it from a kind of gross perspective, if anything. So let's just maybe move on with that. So Isabel, please save me from this nightmare of a conversation I've started with myself. Hello there, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 4:37 PM on Wednesday, July 7th, 2021. Really no news today, so we'll go about our usual business. What should we talk about? You know what we should talk about? We should talk about Nintendo releasing their new, or not releasing, I suppose, announcing their new OLED screen Switch or something, which people, that there were rumours about in the rumour mill going for a long time about some another version of a Switch coming out. Of course, a lot of the rumours were being like, oh, it's a Switch 2 with like upgraded hardware, things like the new Nintendo 3DS, that sort of comparison. But we'll get into it after these letters. Dear the party animal, ain't no party like a birthday party, because a birthday party don't stop, making you feel surrounded by folks who care about you. Wow, that got real. Can't wait for next year's. Thanks for coming. Party on, Mira. Do you buy clothes, dear? I saw this when I was out shopping. I thought go on your body. Yes, we've got this one about 5 times. But yeah, they got the new OLED Switch coming out, which is, I mean, it looks kind of sleek. It's got like a Cavalier shirt, excuse me. The heck. It's not going to be red. It's not going to be red. He was here yesterday, and he didn't give us anything. It got like sleek white plastic casing, I suppose, on it, which, you know, seems to definitely be the sort of trend a lot of more modern day consoles, I suppose, are going. You know, like the PS5, we got that whole like white box thing. Xbox doesn't, I think. In fact, I can't even picture what an Xbox One looks like, so I don't really know. The only thing I can think of is a normal Xbox. So hold on, Xbox One. Maybe they got a white version. I don't know. Oh, it is white. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there's a black one as well. You know, it's multicolored, all that sort of things. So yeah, the new Nintendo Switch is coming out. The only thing I believe which is changing on it is that the screen is becoming OLED, which I don't actually really know what that means. I know it stands for like organic LED, organic light emitting diode, I guess, which doesn't really mean much to me because I don't really know what that means. I guess it's just something I hear all the times in phones. So if you're someone who knows about phones a lot more than I do, you'll probably be like, oh, you know, it means blah 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 blah. Brighter screen, I don't know. High fidelity graphics, all that sort of thing. I guess the broad strokes things to understand is it's probably a better screen. I'm gonna say probably because, you know, let's not put out claims which I can't exactly back up the evidentiality of. But yeah, disappointingly, I suppose there's no new hardware upgrades or software upgrades, I suppose. But software upgrades, I suppose they can do in a rolling patch for the Switch. But yeah, the processor's the same. I believe the only thing that's actually different, particularly about this thing, apart from the screen, mind you, is there's now like an Ethernet port, I believe, at the back. Which, you know, that's pretty good. Especially if you play like, for example, if you play like Smash Ultimate Online or something, you probably want an Ethernet port plugged into the back of your Switch so you can have a good old proper lower latency matches and that sort of thing, which tend to matter a lot more in fighting games than other sort of games. Well, I'm not sure if that's necessarily true, but still. Although, the thing is, I feel like a lot of people before who did that just used the USB to like Ethernet converter, which I didn't realise was a thing you could do, but apparently is a thing you can do. But, you know, it's always nice to have that sort of system built in now, if anything. Oh my word. I can't dig up these flowers as I want them. But it's just sort of like I don't really know what else is coming towards it. The trailer didn't really show off much, I would say, about what to expect from this new OLED Switch, or what's it even called? I don't know. Let's try and find what its name is. It's probably got a name so we can actually refer to it. Sorry, I'm not looking. OLED Switch. Does not have a new CPU or more RAM from previous Switch models, which is, you know, it's a choice. They probably don't expect it to be a Switch upgrade. They're probably not planning on making another Switch up, or not a Switch upgrade for a couple of years. but I guess it technically is some sort of hardware upgrade where you now have a better screen to work with. I don't usually play handheld on the Switch device anyway. Most of the time I'm feeding the feed through my monitor screen, or nowadays I just do it for OBS, because despite it being a smaller screen, it's a lot more convenient to just open up OBS when I've been having to switch my monitor output to HDMI and that sort of thing, and sometimes it doesn't recognize it and it takes multiple attempts, and then it's, you know, I can't just like drag another window on top of it. So playing in an OBS screen is much more beneficial to me, but you know, your mileage may vary with that sort of thing. But yeah, obviously this is not going to be something I'm going to buy. You might be asking, hey Dan, you know, you love your Nintendo consoles and that sort of thing, are you going to buy this? The answer is no. I have no need for it. I'm perfectly fine with the Switch I've got right now. The only thing which is annoying about it is a Joy-Con drift, but even that doesn't matter all too much because I play Animal Crossing, and that, like, if I got Joy-Con drift, it's like, oh no, I accidentally moved downwards when I was meant to move upwards. No big deal in the end. So yeah, there's not really much, not even just benefit, but motivation, I suppose, for, oh, what insect is that? My mistake, okay. For me to go out and purchase new OLED Switch, but there's going to be people out there who probably see it as a good opportunity to. I feel like Nintendo definitely missed the opportunity with releasing it near, like, actually during a pandemic rather than when it's sort of wrapping up, because then that's definitely when Switch was in the highest demand. Everybody wanted a Switch, everyone wanted some sort of home gaming console, and the Switch was definitely the most approachable of all of them, with much more family-friendly titles. And I'd imagine if they released an OLED Switch, then a lot of people would have been like, yeah, I'll buy it, because you have a lot of first-time buyers. I feel like the only people who are going to buy this OLED Switch are first-time buyers of Switches, or people whose Switches are now, like, broken or defunct, or in some sort of, in some form. But also, I'm not an expert on the market, so maybe you shouldn't exactly listen to what I say. All I'm saying is, I think it looks kind of nice. I'm not very interested in it. Although, could we talk about the trailer? The trailer, to be fair, is actually kind of well edited. I thought had a lot of like dynamic cuts, a lot of like the sweeping motions, made it feel like very energetic through different perspectives. But the one thing I want to bring up is this one guy. I can't remember what he did. He for some reason he, you know, not Okay, well, I mean, that's kind of the downside of using Joy-Con drift, is you actually accidentally give your villagers instead of gifts, you give them 3 stones. Oh well, not really much I can do about that, except for fix the Joy-Cons, but that's too much effort, and I'm not buying new ones. What was I saying? Yeah, the guy, he comes home after presumably hard day work, hard day school, or whatever, you know, ambiguous ages as they're always meant to be in these sort of trailers, but presumably work. And then, you know, he like pops down his bag, and he's in his hallway, like from his entrance. He sits down on a stool, which is in the middle of his hallway. Fair enough, it's not too uncommon to have a stool in the hallway, especially like near your door, so then you can put on your shoes a lot easier. Or, you know, if you want to put something down, you can double it up as a table, I suppose. For some reason I thought this was Biscuit's house. And that reminds me, I had the craziest dream last night, and you were there, dear. We were hanging out at this global soul festival, and one of the bands asked us to get up on stage. No one was more surprised than me when I started making mosaics of a crowd's entertainment. Dreamy, so accomplished. That's a mood right there, Lily. Yeah, but he just sits down on the hallway stool and immediately busts out his new OLED Switch and starts playing, like, Pokemon? I can't remember what on earth he was playing, which, you know, I mean, the new Pokemon does look kind of cool, I suppose, the Switch and the graphics, but I guess it doesn't really solve FPS issues that you could potentially run into. I don't know if the Pokemon has any. But it's sort of just like you kind of just, like, walked a couple more meters just to, like, make it to your living room and sit on, like, a sofa or a proper chair rather than a stool in your hallway? Like, don't get me wrong, I mean, if you're really that eager for busting out the Pokemon and training up your party or whatever, maybe it wasn't even Pokemon or whatever, it was a really strange decision. It's not strange from, like, an artistic perspective, I suppose, because from our artistic perspectives, they wanted to show him, like, very clearly show him coming into his house and then immediately going to a Switch. You know, it's a very quick medley and series of events that they don't want to, like, waste time dilly-dallying him going into another room. And and presumably I guess like a jump cut wouldn't work there because it would be too jarring. I don't know, I'm not really a video director. I've only got I mean, I got video editing skills, but they're still quite basic. I'm not like, it's not like something I've been doing for years or anything. Which you might not believe because I'd never video edit on any of my videos really. I can't even speak, my word. But it's just like, from like a realism perspective, which, you know, you might argue that's probably something you shouldn't be searching for example, in Nintendo Switch trailers or anything, because all of these sort of trailers for any of these products are always much more like fantastical, idealistic version of world than they actually are. Like like the original Switch, some girl's going to like her friend's rooftop party where everyone's like drinking and having fun, and she's like, I'm gonna bust out the Switch, and it's like, oh yeah, let's play Mario Kart on this very, very like tiny screen with 4 people. It's like, you know, it's probably not gonna happen, but maybe it does. Maybe I'm willing to be disproven of that sort of thing, because that paints the world in a much more idealistic and fun world, which I want to be in. But still, my point being, from a realistic point of view, where you're meant to, I suppose, put yourself in these characters' shoes in the trailer, you're just like, come on. Your sitting room, I can see it in the hallway right there, like the doorway's right there. You didn't have to, one, sit down immediately and like, are you going to put your bag away? You're going to like close your door, lock your door, put your shoes away, that sort of thing? You got other chores to do, and no, you just can't help yourself. I accidentally picked up 4 fossils, but you know, that just be how it rolls sometimes. It's like you couldn't have just walked 1 more meter. Like it really had to be there and then, didn't it? It's just funny, if anything. It's not like I'm knocking Nintendo and the video editing skills, because it was pretty cool. It was a fun trailer. It kind of feels like just a generic Nintendo Switch trailer rather than one for the OLED Switch, because I suppose there's not really much I can talk about. It was a surprisingly long trailer. I think it's like 2 minutes long or something. But it was just like new OLED Switch or whatever, and it shows off your OLED screen, and then whoa, Ethernet port at the back, and then they had nothing else to show off, I suppose. So it made it a little bit more awkward for them to transition to anything except for a medley of people just playing the video games we've seen, including the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer or something. And it's always a thing where they try to have people on like crazy locations or whatever, like playing games as if it's the sort of thing you do. Like this girl just relaxing by the pool, she like bust out the Switch while on deck chair and just vibe into Breath of the Wild 2, I guess. Which is, I'm trying to think I've ever done that. I don't think I've done it by pool. I mean, I have obviously played games on holiday and that sort of thing, and I'd be remiss if I denied that at all, but we can tell 2 of these. We don't need to hold all of them. It's all just like a a very idyllic sort of place and thing. Do we just have our shoes? Oh well, whatever. Let's just go buy another pair from Kicks, I guess. Let's buy a flower. Not a flower, a tree, sorry. But yeah, it's always in these trailers that they always try to have people in all these crazy locations. Like, you know, just like they always have a family. There's always like a group of friends who's just visiting. They always have people online, like trying to show like someone in like North America fighting against someone in Japan, because that's always the 2 representations they do in Nintendo, just to show their Wi-Fi capabilities and online. And they try and get as diverse a cast as possible, of like all different races, which, you know, fair enough. You may come at it from a much more cynical angle, being like, oh, it's just virtue signaling in the end, like what's the point of doing it? But I think, you know, representation is important in the end. It's much better than the alternative of everyone just being the same person, because especially with trying to promote values of it brings people together, like, and it can make anyone happy, that sort of thing. Why wouldn't you use a reasonable representation of a world? You know, there's a lot of different people on board. Everyone looks rather different, and everyone's from a different background and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's easy to be a bit cynical about that sort of thing, but it does, I guess it's more of a sign that things are becoming normalised. 2-for-1 shorts outfit deal. Oh, thanks, Mira. But yeah, let's go find someone else of our villagers to chat to, so we carry on our usual sort of business of grinding up Nook Mile missions. I saw I already just teleported, or am I losing it? Cloud. Yeah, so the end, it just kind of looked like regular old Nintendo Switch ad, which is cool in its own right, I suppose, you know. Not gonna hate on it or anything like that. It's just like they're just advertising the new OLED Switch. There's not really much more to it, and not really much more that needs to be added. So if you are one of a few people who, for some reason by now, have still not picked up a Switch, and you're someone who would be interested in getting a Switch, I suppose now literally the perfect opportunity to. Because now you can get one with a much fancier screen. I don't remember if the costs are any different, and if you like the white aesthetic, you can go for that one much more. Me personally, if I was to get a new Switch, I wouldn't get the OLED. Well, maybe I would get the OLED one, but I want the Animal Crossing one. If anything, just all the patterns and designs on it. But alas, here I am with my regular old Switch, which, to be fair, I think is probably completely fine. It's not like I look at the design of my Switch all that often. It's just much more of a collector thing if I wanted the Animal Crossing thing. If it's a bit of a shame, apparently Switches, like, you can get like skins for like consoles and that sort of thing. The skins of the Switches don't really work because of the material, I believe the Switch is made out of. It causes it to crack. Maybe that wasn't the Switch. I just remember some like very reputable console skin making company or something was just like, oh, we're not going to sell any for the Switch because, or maybe it wasn't the Switch, we're not going to sell any for some console because it doesn't work and it causes it to crack and that sort of thing, which I was like, oh, you know, that's pretty respectable and cool of them. Hello, Jakey. But yeah, what have I been up to today? Not much. I've done mostly drawing. I played a bit of Isaac. I did the daily run today. It was Jacob and Esau, and it was a pretty good one. I'm sorry you were studying that, but now you can't. So if you played it today on the 7th of July for some unfathomable reason, it was a really strong one. You get both Satanic Bible and Book of Revelations in it, so survivability set. I don't think we have a pond skater. Bug over here. Did the pond skater never have an animation? Oh, it does have an animation. It sort of skates about so freely. I was just like, it's gliding. He was a pond skater. She said, "See you later, boy." He wasn't good enough for her. Sorry. Yeah, what else happened recently? I suppose my Little Nightmares playthrough has gone up yesterday. And the art time lapse has gone up. Should we see how the analytics is doing for art time lapses? Art time lapses always tend to do better than my regular videos, which is fair because I suppose they're a lot more entertaining or interesting to watch. Oh, we're nearly at 200 subscribers. Isn't that weird? Again, Tidal Worms Upstream Mountain still seems to be my most viewed Bug Fables video because of people who can't find Dream Mountain, or find the Tidal Worm. But free subscribers of 200. Let's see. Art time lapse. It's only got 7 views. That's actually considerably less than the others. I guess Little Nightmares isn't very interesting compared to the others. Fair enough, you know. Watch it if you want. Don't watch it if you don't. In fact, the first episode of Little Nightmares has even more than the art time lapse, which is honestly unheard of. I'm always surprised how many views my Animal Crossing videos get. Like, I remember when I first started out, they get like 1 view or 0 views most of the time. Now they're getting like somewhere between 5 and 10. Who's watching these videos? I have no idea who's watching, but people are out there consistently liking. So obviously, thank you very much. I appreciate your support, but it's just like, because there's never any comments left on them, I'm just like, it's ghost people watching them. What's going on? I like a silent entourage, like backing you up. You know, it's like with silent voices, you can feel them in spirit, but you don't necessarily need their words of affirmation to keep them continuing on. So hopefully, these videos are at least somewhat entertaining to you, slightly, or someone. You know, all you have to do is make 2 people happy. You know, that's like one. I was going to say that's net positive, but I never thought about it. But like, if you make yourself happy doing it, then that's already 2 people. You just make one other person happy. That's net positivity. What am I doing? I can't remember what I'm doing. Let's put the stuff away. I don't know if we got a walking leaf. And really, that's all you can aspire to be. Net positive, I suppose. I don't know. I guess that kind of goes for a lot of different things, but I meant in the happiness sense. If you were coming out life from a what's that philosophy called? Utilitarianism perspective. So there we go. Chicken Police, I guess it will be. Well, Chicken Police has already ended, hasn't it? And the Bug Snacks episode is coming on, not today, tomorrow. That'd be exciting. Bug Snacks is a very cool game. Another game with very charming cast of characters, and you know me, love my charming cast of characters. Tangled Towers, Chicken Police, fantastic games of that sort of thing, and Bug Snacks is no exception. Spiritfarer, another good one. Okay, take picture, chop tree, soul shark. That's gonna be very difficult. Shoot a balloon. I wonder if we need to clear out our storage again. Oh my god, my throat. You know that horrible sensation of when you get like a tickle building up in your throat and you really want to cough and you're just like, ugh. That's what just happened to me, Vez. But I had my sip of water. I feel refreshed. Well, not really. I feel kind of the same, if anything. And we're ready to go with more conversations. But yeah, I guess so. I'm not sure how I feel about Nintendo Switch because now I'm thinking about it. If Nintendo did actually announce like the Nintendo Switch Pro or something, and it came out and it was like, oh, it's better hardware, better, much more powerful processor, larger storage space, and that sort of thing, would I buy it? And that's a question I'm trying to answer for myself right now. I'm not sure if I would. Mainly because the Switch I have right now is completely fine. Like it's not perfect, mind you. It's still a bit of a nuisance around it. Like sometimes, obviously, things load in quite slowly. Sometimes when I'm playing Animal Crossing, the FPS drops, especially if it's raining. I don't know why we have two of these. But it's sort of like it would be nice to have an upgrade, but because I'm sort of about two minds about this. Because you should buy things to upgrade if you use them often. Like, buying a new mattress, fantastic choice because you sleep in that bed like a third of your life. Of course, you probably want one of the most comfiest beds you can have. And things like that. It'd be not like it'd be a waste, but it'd be silly not to purchase the best bed quality in any sort of thing that you have because you use it often. Like, what about a pair of work boots? Absolutely a fantastic idea. Splash out a little bit and buy some really good ones if you can afford it, and then you'll be set for life because a lot of things, the more you spend on it, like, it's weird because the more you spend on it, you would have thought it would be a bad thing. But it tends to be that more expensive ones tend to last a lot longer as well. So they sort of become a buy it for life thing. So you actually save more money buying a more expensive thing than you do for buying the cheaper version. Sometimes, not all the times. Do your research and that sort of thing. Don't just trust blindly what I say. That goes for anything I say, to be honest. But yeah, but basically my Switch is fine. I don't really feel the need to upgrade it at the moment. It's just like, yeah, it's just fine. It runs fine. Sometimes it's a bit slow, but I'm not in the need of a hardware upgrade. But then it comes out to things like, oh, you should upgrade things if you use them very often. And I use the Switch every single day. So if there's any time a good reason to come up with trying to upgrade something, if it's not my computer, it should definitely be my Switch or something, I suppose. I don't need to, I suppose. It's not like what I got on my phone. I use my phone, of course, very often, but I still upgrade it like once every 4 years or something because I just don't need to change it up for a new one anytime soon. If it's working for me, then it's working for me. No need to upgrade and splash out that sort of money for it, and every year or every 2 years of that sort of thing. And if anything, I save like 4 times the money, depending on how much you splash out. But of course, if you are someone who upgrades every single year, maybe that's what's important to you, and you just gotta judge that as you see fit. Because it just totally depends in the end of what your priorities are in life and what things you want upgraded, what you don't. So yeah, long story short, not gonna upgrade to OLED Switch. If a Switch Pro comes out, I'm gonna have to think about it. It depends how much later it comes out, because if anything, they're probably not gonna come out with They're not going to come out with... Sorry, I'm trying to think how to phrase the sentence. We're not going to come out with, like, an upgraded version of a Switch for probably quite a while. It's my guess. Do we want to... No, we want to keep these fossils. Because if they've just come out with this, like, upgraded OLED Switch, they obviously don't want to flood the market with it, like, immediately after a Switch Pro, because they kind of want people to buy this OLED Switch in the first place, right? It'd be very silly of them to just be like, oh, okay, here's a new OLED Switch, and like 6 months later, bada bing, bada boom, here's a Switch Pro. It just, I think a lot of people would just be like, hey, a bit of a scummy move there, Nintendo. But still, yeah, we don't need to buy anything, so we'll just leave. It's like, I guess this is something which I'll call that short when it comes to it, like a couple of years down the line. If they do release a Nintendo Switch Pro and I'm just like, oh, you know, my Switch is getting to its last legs of its life. I've had it for a while. Maybe it's time to think about getting an upgrade, because I mean that happened with the 3DS. I had the Nintendo DS Lite, not the original DS. And then I bought the DSi when it came out, because I don't know why. I wanted a blue one, I guess, which was a few years later, because it took a sweet time being sold in the UK. So much so I was almost tempted to buy it in China, but in China it was actually just like even more expensive than it would have been in the UK, surprisingly. Maybe times have changed now. And then later on I was like, you know, a couple years after a 3DS XL was released, I was like, maybe it's time I get a 3DS XL. I'm still playing my DS games every now and then. And perhaps I want to buy this because I should have got that. It's got a much larger screen, you know, that's always a lot nicer to play on a much larger screen than having this tiny DS screen. I don't regret it, because now playing, if I ever like got my DS again and I try to play on the screen, I'll be like, the screen is so tiny. I want my giant 3DS XL again. And plus they released like a Pikachu themed one, and I was like, this is adorable, I have to get this. So it's sort of just like everything came together. I feel like Jakey's thinking over there. Yeah, hello. Yawn, what do you think? I think it's great, because I can't think of another catchphrase for you right now. Man, you put my fears to bed and you tucked them in. Since you dig a burrito, I just keep saying yawn. Excuse that, just a low-flying airplane just above right now. You feel that wrong? That's crazy. What do we want? Low-flying airplane noises. When do we want them? Meow. So it's one of my favourite jokes. Along with, why are there no painkillers in the forest? Because of paracetamol. Such a good joke. Also, why is this tree not one space over? Oh, you know what? Let's actually redeem this mission, because just in case there's that off chance that this next mission is plant a fruit tree, will be redeemed. Ah, so close. These are actually really hard Nook Mile missions to farm up, I'm going to be honest. Thank you, Mallory. Timber door play. I'm pretty sure we know how to make that. So I think we'll just hit the rocks and we'll round off this episode there. So yeah, I know. Are you interested in getting OLED? Is that OLED or OLED? I've always read it as OLED, but I don't actually know if that's the correct way to read it or not. If you're considering to buy it, by all means, tell me how it is. Tell me you're like, oh, it's actually sick, you know, it's so much nicer to see the Switch in high fidelity and quality. You know, and I'm not going to eat my words, because I'm not bashing the new Switch or anything. I'm just saying it's not for me. I'm not really in the market for it right now. But we're probably trying to get new consumers into it, is my guess. People who don't own a Switch, and then they're just like, oh, we should pick up a Switch right now. It's like, oh, what a better time, no better time to buy one. In fact, we come up with a really new fancy one. Right? That's probably how it works out now. I'm not much, well, I'm kind of a business person, but not much of a business person. Not much of a business mindset, so perhaps my judgments about something are a little bit off. But I will say, looks quite nice. I do like the slickness of having white coloured electronics, to be honest. Like my PC case over here is white as well. My phone isn't. I'm not sure if a Pixel 4a had a white version. I didn't actually check. Or maybe I did check and I don't know, I don't remember. I feel like it didn't have a white version, but I probably would have got it if I did, or maybe I didn't, I don't know. There's certain things I like being black, and there's certain things I like being white, which seems to be the only two different colours for technology and other things like that, rather than, you know, wilder colours. Like, I don't go for those metallic greys, I don't go for those rose pinks or anything. But I do like accents to be colourful, I suppose, bright vivid colours or pastel colours. Pastel colours are white, bright vivid colours are black. Something like that, I don't know, there's probably some artistic colour theory in there, but for now, let's try this episode off here, shall we? So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord down below. I hope we can, follow me on Twitter. I hope we can see each other again. Where am I facing? But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now. The Joy-Con drift is incredible.